All right, well, thank you guys for coming to the call tonight. This is my weekly Here to Help You webinar. I think most everybody's been on these calls before, but for those that are new to my list that may watch one for the first time, I do these calls weekly on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern. These calls are just for you guys. I usually come on here and do some sort of a demo or a presentation. Then I answer questions that I got on through the replay form from the previous replays on these calls. And then if you guys have any questions, we try to answer those live here on the call as well. These calls are not here to try to sell you anything. There's usually nothing for sale. Occasionally, there will be something launching this week that I think is of significant value to let you know about, but I'm not here to try to pitch you on buying. I'm just informing you of something that's noteworthy of watching for in the upcoming week. Again, like I said, this is your guys' chance to once a week come on here and learn a little something and get to ask questions, and hopefully it'll help you somewhat in your business in some way. So what we're going to talk about tonight is sales pages and how the first 30 seconds of a visitor coming to your website is what counts, and how sales pages have changed over the years to make this first 30 seconds really crucial in determining the success of the landing pages and sales pages that you're using. Now, traditionally, we've all heard this before. It's been said that you only have 7 to 10 seconds to get a visitor's attention when they first visit your website, and that that's been proven to be a fact. You know, you really do just have just a few seconds to grab their attention to get them to stop and look at your web page, whether it be they found it through a search result or somebody recommended it through an email link or whatever, or Facebook post, or ever how they got to your website. You really just have just a few seconds to grab their attention. They make a decision really quick whether it's something they're interested in, whether they're going to continue reading the sales page that you have, or a landing page. Recently, one marketer I know of, and I've heard this in a couple of different places, has started quoting a Microsoft research thing saying that the average human attention span in 2012 was 12 seconds, but by 2013 it was only 8 seconds, which is what they claim to be 1 second shorter than a goldfish. Now, I don't know whether to believe that or not. That's all I've heard is they quoted as Microsoft research. But first off, I have to question how they know what a goldfish attention span is. I'm sure there's some sort of scientific method or something for determining that, what a goldfish is paying attention to, but I don't know whether to believe that or not. But over the years, copywriters and graphic designers have introduced major changes to sales page and landing page format and the presentation of the copy and the graphics that's on these pages. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is some of these changes that we've seen over the years and how crucial this first 30 seconds is when somebody comes to your initial page. Sales pages have evolved from the simple catalog description type to having the bold headlines and subheadlines to video sales pages, and now the mobile responsive sales page format. Remember back in the I guess it was early 1990s, when internet first started becoming available to the public, anybody that was selling something online, it looked pretty much just like a catalog page, an item that was listed in a catalog, except it was a web page. They were pretty bland and boring, but it was something new. You had never seen anything like that on a computer screen. So it did fairly well for that time period. And then copywriters got involved with, now, they had a different medium to display advertisements and sales copy, altering it somewhat, and it changed several times over the years. And one of the most predominant ones, that you see now is, the bold headlines and the subheadlines, and then, the traditional storytelling or explaining the pain points or solution points of a sales page. That's what's been the norm for the years, for a long time. But over the last 3 to 5 years, a lot has changed in the way people browse the web, and things have changed a lot in sales pages and landing pages because of that. So here's a sample screenshot of just various types of sales pages, and you'll recognize, the formats of a lot of these. In fact, the fourth one to the left there on the very top row is your traditional sales page that we've all seen for years and years. And then as you skim down through these examples here, you'll see some of the more modern type involved here, especially like down on the third row, the fourth one over. That is more of a modern type sales page that we see nowadays. And then again, down here on the very bottom row, let's see, I guess it's the third one over. You can't hardly see it too well, but you see how they have a video there and then the sales button code right there beside the video. So as you can see, just from this sample screenshot, I mean, this is just a small screenshot, how, there's various different types and how they've changed over the years. And this is all due to, trying to get that attention of the person when they're visiting your page, trying to get them to stay on the page. So we've seen lots of changes evolve because of that. Now, the trend now is, instead of using, the fixed width pages like we've seen in some of the examples there on that previous slide, to having flexible designs with liquid designs and making it to where, they're more resizable and viewable on mobile devices. And you want these elements on these sales pages to look right on different browsers and also different screen resolutions. So this is the trend we're seeing nowadays, is for people to not make the traditional, static images that can't be resized, to have it to where, the sales page, depending on the resolution and even the browser type that they're using, can alter itself and to still display interesting format, to where it's going to grab the person's attention. But still, even with this, the headline and sometimes the header, which header graphics are getting less and less used now. Now you'll see more logos being used than header graphics, but there's still quite a few people that still use header graphics. These are the first things that grabs the visitor's attention. It's the very first thing they're going to see, is either this headline or the graphic header that you've used. And what follows next, what the visitor can consume in less than 30 seconds, is what determines if they're going to stay on the page or not. And this is what we're going to talk about this next 30 seconds. So the traditional formula for a landing page or a sales page was, and for the most part still is, the AIDA format, which stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. We still pretty much follow this same formula, except that it's been altered somewhat, in that now it's not necessarily in this order, although these same 4 parts are still pretty much predominant in any kind of landing page or sales page that you go to now. Where we used to rely heavily on creating the interest by telling a story or relating to the pain or the trouble, now in more modern sales pages and landing pages, more emphasis is placed on the benefits and desires up front before the interest and the interest portion of the sales copy. And I'm going to show you some examples of those here. Here's an example of a product that's just launched here in the last week or so. And as you'll notice, the very top thing is, they have a headline, and then they lead right into bullet points of the benefits, and then right beside of it, a screenshot of the product box, the 3D image of a product box. You also see this same type format with a video, and it could be either, the video or the product shot on the right or left hand side, but you'll see this a lot where they lead off with some sort of a headline, then they have either a screenshot of the product box or a video, and then bullet points listed right beside of it. And then they lead down into the rest of the sales copy. And here's another example of using just the headline to grab the attention. and then leading right straight into the benefits and results of the use of this product if you were to, get it and use it. And here's another one, and this one demonstrates the use of video. They still are using the headline to grab the attention to get the person to stop. But then they've got a video that plays, and then right directly below the video, they start listing the benefits and the bullet points of what you can get from using their product. So as you can see from these three examples here, and this is common amongst most all the sales pages you see now, that they try to follow this same format. Now they start out with the headline to grab the attention to get the person to stop. Then they either jump right into some benefits and bullets, or they start out with some sort of little video and then go into the benefits and bullets. And then below that, they go into the rest of the sales copy. And again, it still follows, has those same four elements, the attention, interest, desire, and action. It's just that they're a little out of place now. They're placing more emphasis on the attention and the interest now and desire, as opposed to leading into the description of the problem and trying to solve the problem up front. So the question is does this work? And is it better than traditional long text and video sales pages that we've seen for years? There for a long time, the traditional long text was about the only type of sales page we've seen for a long time. And then people started switching to video sales pages. And they went over fairly well, but some people took it to the extremes and made their videos really long, so they kind of got kind of a bad rep. If all you went to on the sales page was a long video, it was really hard to get somebody's attention to get them to stay there, especially if you had the controls disabled or had it set to they couldn't stop the video. That really burned a lot of people in going to a video sales page. So traditional long text for the longest time, and for pretty much now still is the best converting sales page that there is. But again, just like I showed you in the previous three examples and then the screenshots of the multiple examples, the change up of the order of the elements on those pages has changed a lot. Even though they still can be considered traditional long text, the order of the elements has changed dramatically in the placement now to try to get people's attention right off the bat. Now, of course, this change, it does work. And if you answer truthfully, when you go visit a sales page or landing page or an opt-in page, now, do you actually read it, or do you skim through looking at the graphics and the bullet points first? If you're like most people, and myself included, you're going to first off, if the page gets your attention enough to stop and look at it, you're going to scroll down and look through the sub-headlines and the bullet points first before you consider reading the rest of the page, see what's on it. So their first 30 seconds consists of the first 7 to 10 seconds is what you use to grab their attention. And again, most people still use a headline and sometimes a header graphic or a logo in conjunction with the headline. They still use that as the main stopping point to get people to stop and pay and take notice of the page where they want to stop and read it. But then the next 20 to 30 seconds is where you show the benefits of using the product that you're trying to sell them. And this is what you should concentrate now on when you're designing the order of your sales pages and landing pages now, is what follows right after the attention grabbing part, because you're still at this point even at that 7 to 10 seconds, you've got them to stop, but they're still not there for long. If you don't continue on holding their interest in some way, you will still lose. They will click off the website. So that's wherein most people now are starting to lead off with the benefits and the desires of what you can, results of what you can get from using whatever it is you're trying to sell. So if you can hold their attention for the first 30 seconds, it's been shown that you have a 40 to 60% chance of making the sale. The next two determining points after this 30 seconds is one, the price point, and then any bonuses. If you can convince people to stay past that 30 seconds and continue to read some more copy on the page, and particularly what people go for next after they've read the bullet points and the benefits and the subheadlines, they go next to the price point to see if it's something they can even afford. If they have met that, it is something they feel like they can afford. The next thing they're going to look for is bonuses, if you have any, to see if any of the bonuses you're offering might potentially be worth more than what the product is you're trying to sell. I know a lot of times I'll go to a sales page just to see what bonuses are being offered, because a lot of times, sometimes the bonuses are worth more to me than the product they're actually selling. So give it a shot with your next sales page. Instead of following the traditional AIDA format, give it a shot with your next sales page and start out with your bullet points and your benefits right up front, and try to get the people to stay on the page past that initial 30 seconds. If you can get them to stay past that first 30 seconds, you got a good shot at them being convinced, to purchase the product that you're trying to sell or opt into your list, whatever it might be you're trying to do, whatever the action you're after. So you want to create this attention grabbing headline and then lead off, like I said, with your benefits and your desired bullet points. And also, don't forget to make your sales pages mobile optimized, because smartphones and tablets are quickly replacing desktop computers. There was somebody from Dell last year that predicted that by the year 2020 you have a hard time finding a desktop. They're going to be extremely hard to purchase after the year 2020. Now, laptops are still going to be around for quite a bit longer because they're still used in colleges and universities quite a bit because of their portability, but desktops are definitely on their way out. So you need to start making sure that all of your websites and web pages are mobile optimized and can have fluid designs that can resize to different screen resolutions and different browsers. So pay attention to those when you're working on your next sales page, that you have a page that can be resized. And a simple test of doing that is just to, especially on just about any browser that you use, no matter what operating system it is, you can click the resize button and then just drag the corners of the browser around and just see how your page resizes. If it doesn't resize well and it makes you have to use scroll bars, then it's not going to be very well optimized for smartphones and tablets. And one of the best tips I can give you for that is, instead of using the GIF and JPEG format, is start getting used to using the SVG and the PNG images. Those are more apt to resize and still look clear and attention grabbing on resizing to a smartphone or a tablet, as opposed to the GIF and JPEGs, which for the most part will not resize very well. In fact, most of the older GIF type images won't resize at all. They'll still display, but you have to scroll on either the smartphone or tablet to get to see the whole image. The JPEGs try to accommodate that, but they're still not as good as the SVG images and the PNG images. Okay, so that was, like I said, that was a brief tutorial on the changes of sales pages, and I know you've all seen these changes recently. We've gone from having the text in the center of the screen with the wide borders on the sides, now to having completely solid colors and sections that fill the screen now on the more modern sales pages. So we've all seen that, and most of your WordPress plugins now that create landing pages and sales pages can do this for you automatically. So it's not as hard to do as it once was. It used to be you had to be really good, at coding with CSS to be able to create pages that were responsive like that. But now with some of these WordPress plugins that are out now, it's really easy to create pages that will resize like it for you. And a lot of these plugins will even make them touch responsive now. That was one thing that was really hard to do in the past, was create pages that were touch responsive. A lot of the sales page creator plugins and landing page creator plugins you get now will do that automatically for you. They will seek hot linked items that you have on your page and make them to their touch responsive. All right, so you guys have any questions on the sales page formats that we talked about? Has anybody created a mobile optimized sales page lately? I know there's lots of plugins out, InstaBuilder, WP Profit Builder, Thrive. There are several of them out there now that do this, and they're all really affordable now. So most everybody should have a copy of one of the major ones now. James says, how would you optimize an HTML page? With an HTML page, you'd have to do it with CSS to be able to optimize it for mobile response. And you can use some jQuery plugins that Google has put out that will also make them mobile responsive as well. But the easiest thing to do, most all of your major sales page plugins now can actually take regular HTML and convert it over to WordPress format that will use the WordPress internal functions to make it mobile responsive. I know InstaBuilder can do that, and WP Profit Builder can do that. I've not used Thrive, but I've heard that Thrive can do it as well. Okay, well, if there's no more questions on that, let's go ahead and get our questions that we got from the replay forum from last week, where we didn't have a call last week. I have a few that are a little bit outdated here. Well, they're a week old. They're not really outdated. The first one says, if I wanted to launch a non-IM niche product and get affiliates, where would be the best place to do that? Obviously, the best place to get, the best shot at getting affiliates that's in the non-IM niche would be ClickBank, but it really would depend on the type of product you're talking about. There may be other marketplaces that would be better depending on whatever the niche might be. It may be better to launch it, with a joint venture with somebody else that's in that niche that has, a really popular blog or a forum. But in general, I would recommend ClickBank for anything that's non-IM, because ClickBank still has, more affiliates than any other affiliate network than any of the others, as opposed to Warriors Plus or JVZoo or DigiResults or any of the rest of them. Deb's asking, can we talk a little bit about laptops and desktops? Here in just a second. Let me get through the questions and then we'll talk about the laptops and desktops, Deb. The next question I have is what are the best types of CPA offers to promote? Depends on if you're wanting to go for quick conversions, and if you're wanting to do that, the email and zip submits are probably the best to promote. The offers that seem to convert the best are gift cards and cell phones, free cell phones and that type of thing, iPads and that kind of thing are the best things that convert the easiest. If you're after, the bigger ticket CPA offers, the best thing on those is surveys after, the email and zip submits. The only problem with surveys is usually you have to get to like the second or third page of a survey before it's considered, a conversion. So depending on the survey, it may be hard to get people to go through 2 or 3 pages before it actually counts as a conversion. If you're, like I said, if you're after the quick conversions, the email and zip submits for the gift cards and free cell phones and digital items and that type of thing are probably the best thing to start with. Those seem to convert the best for people who are just starting out. The next question says, is there a difference in the amount of traffic between a WSO and a WSO classified? There's definitely a huge difference between the two. WSO now, since Freelancer bought out Warrior Forum now, WSO now has to be a paid product where you're selling something, as opposed to it used to be you could put a free offer in there now. Now they make you put free offers over in the classified section. And the only problem with the classified section is is there can be a lot of stuff in the classified section that are just regular straight out, products that you could get elsewhere that people are trying to sell over there. So you have to dig through a lot of the pages to find, really good things listed over in the classified section. So people still visit the WSO section more than they visit the classified section. Although you can still get good traffic over there, I still recommend posting classifieds, especially if it's not your own product. If you just, bought a PLR product that you changed up somewhat, that is a good place, to try to get your first initial sales with it. If you're definitely going to try to do list building, then, the classified section is definitely worth it. You're still going to get more traffic through a WSO classified than you would by buying a solo ad. In my opinion, I think the traffic quality is better through the classified section than through buying traditional solo ads, unless you're buying a solo ad from somebody that has a really good list. But your average solo ad now, you buy now is anywhere from 45 to 60 cents per click, and you don't know about the quality of the list that you're getting it from, whether it's people that have been trained to look for only free offers and that's all they're after. So you're kind of taking a gamble with buying solo ads now, whereas opposed to the classified section, most of those people are over there looking for something to buy to start with. So you have a better chance of making a sale through the people that you're get subscribed to your list from a listing over there. And then the last question I have says, I've heard so much about Amazon, eBay arbitrage selling. Is that really a good business model? It can be, and there is people that will stick only to eBay to buy products. They don't want to go anywhere else looking for it. So if you can really, dig into it and keep on top of things and find wholesalers to arbitrage with, you can make good money doing that. It's just not as easy as it once was. People still, will bargain hunt somewhat over on eBay. So your profit margin is quite a bit less than what it could be if you were just trying to sell it straight out over on Amazon, as opposed to, trying to get it from Amazon then sell it over on eBay. But there are a lot of people that still, will only go to eBay to, purchase products, or people that, that don't trust anywhere else. They want to, try to find, some sort of a bargain over on eBay. That's what they're looking for. So, it is definitely a good business model. It's just it's not as lucrative as it once was, and it's kind of tedious to deal with now. Now, there's been a lot of courses that's come out lately about white labeling products and selling them over on Amazon and eBay, and that's a fairly new business model that's cropped up. But it does have, significant investment into it in sourcing out products and then getting things set up for the shipment and having Amazon FBA account and that kind of thing. So it's not something that the average person can jump into really easily unless you have, time and some money to invest into it. About the best solution I've seen for that is, to go to some of the wholesale sites over in China and Taiwan and find items over there that you can, contact the manufacturer and about white labeling them. But you have to be kind of careful with some of those items that they still yet could be knockoffs of a major product that's selling over here in the US or UK, and it could infringe on trademarks or copyrights. So you kind of have to be careful with some of that stuff that you might get from overseas, that it's not too much like a popular selling item that you have here now. So I don't know, if it were me and I wanted to do this Amazon eBay arbitrage, I think I would eliminate the Amazon part, and I would look places that people are selling used items cheaper, that are needing money, like Craigslist and places like that, and then maybe sell those over on eBay. It's still really hard to find, something that you can get a decent profit margin with it from Amazon and turn around and sell it over on eBay. Okay, that was the last of the questions that I had in the replay form. Now, Deb, what was your question about laptops and desktops? Is the demise of desktops based on consumer behavior only versus people working with computers daily? It's based on portability. People are wanting portability in their computers now. That's why laptops will be around for several more years. Probably won't see laptops go out within our lifetime. There's always going to be laptops out, and they're just going to get thinner and smaller. But people are switching to smartphones and tablets for communication and connectivity, and the browsers are getting better and better, and plugins are being developed for the mobile browsers now, so they're slowly starting to take over the desktops, the smartphones and the tablets are. But you're still going to, like I said, you're still going to see tablets around for many years because the colleges and universities want the students to carry some sort of a device that can be networked to their school networks, and your business people still want to be able to log into their VPNs back at their sales offices. So you can't really do those type of things with the smartphones and tablets. So that's why you're going to see laptops last for so much longer. But desktops, they're definitely on the way out. In fact, the school system that I do networking for, they have stopped purchasing desktops altogether and switching everything over to laptops and iPads. They're not buying any more desktops at all. They haven't bought any in the last 2 years. You probably noticed that it's really hard to find somebody to work on a desktop now. If you have a desktop now that needs to be repaired, it's getting really hard to find anyone to even work on those now. It says I have 3 monitors and love it. You have 3 monitors connected to your desktop? My brother has 5 monitors connected to his desktop. I've never seen anything like it. He got 5 of them. I don't see how he keeps up with his mouse with that many monitors. Thing that says I have 2 but could not work with 1 anymore. Once you start using 2, yeah, it's hard to go back to having just 1. It's just so much more convenient to have, the the main program that you're using in one window, so you can go to the other window and do any kind of research or something else that you need to do while the other program's loaded in the one monitor. It took me years to get switched over to two monitors, but once I did, it's hard to go back now to a single monitor. This says, does he work on videos? Sort of in a way. He monitors surveillance systems, so he has different camera systems pulled up in each one of the monitors. But he works with surveillance systems, I guess is why he had to have so many of them. So would this be easy enough to set up the laptops too? Most laptops do have an external port on them where you can put a second monitor on them. I don't know beyond a second monitor what you can do with a laptop. I'm sure you could use some sort of a VGA switch to have multiple monitors on a laptop like that. But I know you can have 2 real easy. Laptop screens are too small. I don't necessarily have a problem with the screens so much on it, it's just the keyboards are so small. That's the one problem I have with smartphones. The keyboards on a smartphone are too small for me. Thing says she uses an external keyboard on a laptop and iPad. I have an external keyboard for my iPad too. I like it a lot better than using that built-in software keyboard. Deb says she has a 22-inch, two 22 inches, and a 27-inch. And you want bigger. Okay. Well, now, most of the TVs you get now, you can turn those into monitors. You can go to Walmart and get a 32-inch flat screen TV now that you can use for a computer monitor. They have computer monitor hookups to them now. Has anybody started creating an infographic since the training Saturday night? Has anybody started one? Or at least gathering your content for your first one? Deb and Dana says no, but we'll be doing one soon. Deb says I like the idea though. They're really easy to do. Like I said, once you start out with the content that you want to use for one first, get your content that you want to put in as far as the info part, and then just find you a couple of graphics to use for it. Um, you know, they go really quickly. Like I said, that one I did live on the call Saturday night took me longer because I was explaining every bit of it as I went. Once you do your first one, they're really simple to do after that. I did another one yesterday evening just playing around with it, and I did it in less than 20 minutes. Yeah, Roy, one you could do infographic for list building real easy. There's lots of info you can get and statistics you can get for that. A great one for list building would be a sales funnel, explaining a sales funnel. A lot of people, don't understand the various parts of a sales funnel, so that would make a great one to do. Okay, I got a couple of product announcements I want to tell you guys about that are coming out pretty soon. One of them, the date got changed on it. Henry Gold is releasing another PLR product. It was initially going to be this Thursday, but he's moved the date up to August the 26th now. It looks like it's going to be a good product to have. And then Michael Chaney is releasing a product called the Commission Machine next Thursday on the 13th. That looks like it's going to be pretty good. So you might want to watch out for those to start being announced. Henry Gold, like I said, he releases these PLR products that you can get really cheap on the front end, and they convert really well. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, it was initially going to release this Thursday on the 6th, but he's moved it to the 26th now. Okay, guys, you guys have any other questions before we call it a night tonight? Anybody have any questions about the sales page training? I'll have the PDF that goes along with it, so you guys can kind of go by that when you go to create your next one. Like I said, you need to give that a shot as opposed to creating the traditional ones now. If you have a WordPress site, use one of those plugins that's out now. They'll make it a lot easier for you to do it, and you'll see a big difference. You can create the old type, and then create one with the new plugins, making them responsive, and you can do some split testing between them, and I guarantee you're going to see a difference between the two in the conversion rates. James said, could I use Graphics Magic? Yeah, Graphics Magic creates PNG images, so it would work great for creating graphics for a sales page. Okay, guys. Well, if there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and call tonight. Thanks for coming to the call tonight. I hope you learned a little something about the sales pages. Like I said, experiment with them. Create your traditional one and create one of the new modern ones, and do some split testing between them. And like I said, I have a feeling you're going to see the results of what other people are seeing and why people are switching to those now. And like I said, the biggest thing is people want their pages to be responsive now so that they can display on the smartphones and tablets. And most of the traffic now you're seeing, Google is saying 40 to 50% of the traffic they see now is mobile related. So you're going to see a big difference once you shift over to creating the fluid type sales pages now that people are using. But changing up the order, the format, like I said, leading off with your features and benefits to create the interest as opposed to telling a story is becoming the norm now. So, look into doing that as well, changing up the order of your sales pages as compared to what we used to do. But you guys have a great night, and thanks for coming to the call. And I'll see you guys in the SWR Wednesday night. Have a great evening, folks.